We're going to talk today about expectations. The theme of the week is under pressure. And we're all feeling a pressure. I know Allison Onofrio last night mentioned like she's feeling a pressure to have a new talent when we're out of quarantine. And like it's insane where we go with this in the world. And I'm going to start the lesson tonight by telling a story. In October of 2018, I ran a 100-mile ultramarathon, for those that may or may not know. It was beautiful. I set my own vision for it. I wanted to do this for me. It was an internal life goal, and I trained really well. I got a super cool coach, Joe, who might be a guest on the show at some point, and I completed that 100-mile race on October 21st, 2018. It took 22 hours. Fast forward to that race ending, and I felt this extreme amount of like a depressive state. I was in a pretty dark hole after that. Tara will attest to it. And I couldn't understand why, because I had completed the race and it was so magnificent while I was doing it. And then it was over and I thought I'd feel really accomplished, and I wasn't. So I signed up for another 100-mile race, and it would be May of 2019. And I trained, and at this point, I'm getting pretty good at ultra running. So my coaches and the outside world, and I'm looking at other people's times, are like, Ed, you could potentially win this race. You could come in the top 3. You might even podium in this race. You could break 20 hours. You're doing so good with training. And I started taking in all these outside expectations for why I was running this race and what the purpose was. So I'm under pressure to perform. I'm feeling external expectations from coaches and people in the ultra running world. And ultimately I got into this race, started hammering on it, forgot why I was training for this thing in the first place and why I loved ultra marathons in the first place, and ultimately dropped out at mile 75, my first DNF, shivering uncontrollably, didn't think about the race at all, didn't plan for the cold weather or any of my food and fueling well, and was just focused on, I gotta live up to the external expectations of people telling me I can come in the top 3, I want that trophy, and I was running toward the end result. The depressive state I felt after that was so extreme, I didn't run again for months. I didn't put on my running shoes for months. Last summer at Leadership Academy, I was like in a very tough mental space due to running. And it was all because I was running for external expectations versus doing it because I had my own internal want. Fast forward, on Saturday nights, this past weekend, Tara and I have date night. Every Saturday is date night. We get burgers and fries delivered to our house. We disinfect all the boxes. We eat our burgers and fries, and then we have date night. And date night is, let's watch a show, let's watch a movie, or let me strum on my guitar, and Tara, you can listen to the soulful sounds that I'm trying to make and not doing a great job of. It turned into us turning off the lights, taking our Bluetooth speaker, putting on the hits of the 2000s, and we danced in our living room for 2 hours straight. It was a dance party, was it not?
It was, yeah.
And I started to feel this immense amount of joy that I could only compare to that first ultra marathon I ran. And then it hit me. Why I run ultras. So I'm going to share this with you, and this is part of the lesson and where we're going to get to tonight. Why I run ultra marathons and why a 100-mile ultra is good for me is because when you're in the middle of that ultra marathon, you've exhausted all of your thoughts. You're not thinking about the past or the future anymore. You hit mile 40 and all you can think about is the mile you're on in the present moment. And I loved that state, and why I got hooked on ultras is because it made me so aware of what was happening around me. It forced me into the present moment. This quarantine, what I'm learning is it is forcing us to slow down. We've thought all our thoughts. We've gone through all the scenarios. We can't think anymore because we're overloaded and we've had so much time to do it. So now, still processing. This is just my realization. So now where my brain has gone to is I'm locked into the present. My awareness has spiked. And I'm not talking awareness like about life outside of here. I'm talking life right in front of me. I'm looking out the window. I'm like, listen to that bird. And I stopped and listened to the bird. I'm watching plants grow, and every day I see like a new leaf grow that much. I'm like, look at the new leaf. The sounds, the smells, awareness of the present moment has been heightened. And when we were doing our dance party on Saturday night, it was such a joyful time because I was so in that moment. I wasn't licking the ice cream cone, tasting it and being like, I just want the next one. I was licking that cone and enjoying that one lick. And I think that for me, that's where joy comes from. And I think in life, we oftentimes put our joy and our happiness on the other side of success. And for me in that second 100 miler, I did that. I was not going to be happy. I wasn't going to feel an internal joy until I was crossed the finish line and had my trophy. And the whole time I was running, my awareness wasn't in the present, it was on the finish line. Not a good thing to do in a 100-mile race. When I was in the first 100-mile race, I was just happy to be there and I was very present and aware. And right now in quarantine, we can't go reach for that next thing. We can't reach for the weekend for our happiness. We can't reach for vacation for our happiness. We can't reach for like, all right, I can't wait till the school year ends. Like, we have to find our happiness now. It's not some external thing that comes at the end of our sports season when we're hoisting the state championship trophy that we strive for. And so what I want to leave you all with tonight is this idea of when we're in our life right now, happiness and joy is not something to strive for at the end. Don't put it at the end of quarantine of like, I'll be happy when I see positive news that we've got a vaccine, or when we see a positive sign, because this was me at the beginning. At the beginning of this whole thing, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I need some positive news. Someone tell me it's going to be okay. I even said that on this show. And I've evolved a little bit since then and grown a little bit. And I want to let everyone know, like, there's a way to find internal joy and happiness without putting it in some external future, just success. And the danger of putting happiness at the end of a success in the future is now you're putting external expectations on it and saying like, we have to achieve this in order to feel happy. You don't. Happiness is being aware. Happiness comes when you are finding presence and you're noticing where you are in life in the moment. It's not from achievements. And if you're waiting for happiness to come at the end of achievement, all you're going to do is achieve whatever you're trying to go after, and then we're naturally wired to raise the bar and try and achieve the next thing. So you're going to push happiness further away. Find it now through your current awareness of the present moments of the one, also known as the now. And with that, we've got a star dot for you. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. And I'm going to end this lesson talking about why that Saturday night dance party with Tara and I just jamming in our living room had so much joy. Joy comes from the present moment, the awareness of that present moment. And we slowed down life these days so much. We've slowed it down so much that now things are simpler. We have space to be aware. And we're getting into that childlike joy where as a young kid, you don't need much to be happy. You're just happy to be alive. Kids are bouncing around, they're smiling. They don't know what they're doing, but they're just happy because we're wired to be happy. And it's the external expectations of adulthood and the career world that really push us to now take happiness out of the present moment, get into the rat race, and put happiness at the end of races and be like, there it is, I'll get there someday. Nope. Allow life to slow down. You're going to feel joy when you get slow, simple, and aware of what's around you. And it's going to burst open and you're going to dance to the hits of the 2000s in your living room with the lights off. That's all I got for you.